Peace, love, love. You're gonna see the reflection on my glasses. This is why I don't do my glasses with these lights. But peace, love. Didn't feel like throwing on my contacts, but I gotta see. So peace, love. I know it's a late. Peace, peace, peace. Love, love, love. I know it's a late Tuesday tea. I have been in the shop doing my thing, running around. We were supposed to have a guest today, but my guest lost her lovely voice. So I'm going to wing it today, and I'm just going to do my thing. Next week, we're going to do Tuesday tea on location somewhere. It's going to be special. It's going to be my birthday tea. Hey, next Tuesday. So y'all join me next Tuesday. I'm probably just gonna do some lives all day, so y'all can just see where I'm at, and I'll tell y'all about that then. So y'all ready? You got your tea. You're gonna sip with me. I've been sharing the mugs of the tea that I myself make and blend, and the designs that I have created with another artist. In collaboration. So this is one of my Maagik mugs. This has the tree of life. This is a comedic tree of life with the Maagik flow comedic yoga poses on here. And I have two Maagik mugs in my shop. One of them has the moon goddess on there, and so these Maagik mugs change colors. They go from black, and then they display the actual images on there when you put Gotcha tea in there. So we got to add the alchemy all through and through and through and through. So I have my Jasmine Calming Tea Blend. This is my summer blend, y'all. This is all about just chilling, relaxing. Jasmine brings comfort, relieves anxiety. I have the passion flower in there and some other herbs that are really helpful to regulate the energy in your body so that you can just do your thing and keep moving, keep flowing through the summer, and just relieve anxiety and tension all throughout the body. So that is my Jasmine Calming Blend, and we got the Maagik mug popping off today. So what we're gonna do today, I usually do newsletters every new moon, every full moon, and every change of the season. So solstice and the equinox. And I'm late this week. I'm late this time. So I'm going to probably get that up by the end of the week. But one of the things that I'm going to share in there is the solstice reading. So the collective consciousness reading for the summer energy, right? So some of the things that we are bringing forth in the collective consciousness. So I also wanted to share with you all some of the cards, the tarot cards, the oracle cards, the Magi cards that I use, that have been using for a few years. Some from my oldest cards to my newest ones. I actually started using cards. I used the oracle first. My main practice is comedic spirituality. So I do a lot of my practices based in those principles. So the main card that I have always used and started to use about 6 years ago or so, as I was going through my own spiritual initiation and practice, was the Meta cards. These are, I don't even know if these are still in print. I don't know. You might be able to find them somewhere, but these are the Meta cards. So these are actually oracle divination. A couple of differences with between oracle and the Magi cards or tarot cards. Depends on oracle cards. When I think of oracle cards, I think of cultural context. I think that oracle cards they present a universal concept, right? And they can get down to the spiritual aspects and faculties that are dealing directly with you. When I think of tarot cards, they can be very generalized. They change depending on the choices that we make, things like that. I'm not the best to maybe describe all that, but I do use a different combination of those cards for my own personal readings and for my consults with my clients and my students. So that is one of the cards that I mainly use, that I've been using for a very long time, which is my Metu Netter cards. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. If y'all coming in, come vibe with me. We're going to talk about some cards. We're going to talk about the energy. So another one of the cards that I have had for a very long time was this is the Gypsy Witch. When I first started to do readings, I learned from the Destiny cards, which is like from normal playing cards. So they have the normal like clubs and hearts and diamonds and spades on them. And then I actually got the Gypsy Witch cards, which are tarot cards that have like the major and minor arcana attached to them. And these cards are interesting. I do not like the images on here. They are very white, but they are detailed in the explanation for what the reading is. Like, it's directly on the card. So this is one of my first cards when I was coming away from like the oracle readings and I wanted to go into tarot. So these cards actually was interesting because I had a sister friend introduce me to these cards. She actually got this deck for me, and very fire energy female, and I'm gonna get into that fire energy as well. But when I did my first reading for this deck, I did a full life reading, or it might have been a full like yearly reading. It was right before my birthday in 2016, and the death card came up. And coming from the oracle perspective, I was not very familiar with the death card. And death cards sometimes can talk about, most of the time it's talking about just cycles and patterns in our lives. It's not actually talking about actual death. But the death card in this tarot is very specific to actual death. So it scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me. But it was interesting because the death card popped up and just giving me warning and really showing me exactly what was happening in my world, right, in my sphere. And a few months later, my father transitioned, not unknowingly. He was sick. And so instead of being afraid of that, it really empowered me because I was able to see, I would think that I was able to prepare myself a little bit better because it was in my consciousness. Although at that time it scared me and I really didn't understand like where it was, if it was me, if it was somebody else or anything like that, depending on the placements, because I was new to this type of reading. But after the fact, in foresight, in hindsight, I was really grateful for the warning in a sense. I was better prepared subconsciously. So this is a deck that I played around with. It was my yes or no deck as well for a while after a couple of years. And then the images just no longer resonated with me. I wasn't able to really get clear readings from them after a while. No disrespect, I just threw them on the ground. That's how much I'm kind of over those cards. I might need to re-gift them or something. And so I started to move towards more like feminine energy, feminine images, and more images that depicted, different type of bodies, black, brown bodies, or masculine, feminine, ancestral, like different type of images. And so my favorite deck for a while was the Mother Peace deck. I actually just kind of semi-retired this deck. It is one of my favorite. It's been, it's always right on. It's very clear. It comes with a booklet and it comes with another novel, or separate. But I really grateful for this deck. It really helped me to get into the practice of when I'm stuck. That's when I gravitate towards wanting to get something subconsciously, especially around when cycles and patterns come up and I feel stuck around them, or I'm not even like clear about what's happening, but I can feel it in my body, like the stagnant energy. And so I go to my cards. My oracle cards are beautiful for a lot of deep spiritual work, but for mundane purposes, like everyday purposes, or just, when I just want to get quick clarity or guidance on some things, my tarot cards are one of the best things to go to. So this is a deck that I actually buy for people, my youth, whenever they first start. And I am coming from a perspective of like born and raised Christian, right? And came away or just really still grounded in foundational understanding of that. But I also always knew that there was a lot more magic in the world that I wasn't allowed to have, right? But with the cards, it allowed me to access the spiritual intuition, like the natural intuition that I already have, but to bring more clarity and like connection through these tools. They're just tools. And so I use them, I teach them, I practice with them. And so now I have just, I like to say graduated too, because I love when it's time for me to get a new deck, because it's a different connection that I have, like with the images, with, or just like where I am in my life. So last year I actually got this deck for my spiritual godmother. For her birthday, or it might have been for like solstice or something, and I just fell in love with the images. And this is the Isis deck. It's interesting. It's this is Kemetic as well, but it's of course the Greeks took a lot of the images and the deities and renamed them. And so the images are kind of brown, but they're also very still like, they probably are European. But they're just beautiful. They're very graphic and very beautiful. And the messages and it being more of an oracle, this is an oracle, really, really, really resonates with the conscious, like the conscious, collective conscious energy. So I have a reading that I did for the solstice, for the collective consciousness, from this oracle that I'm going to share with you all in a little bit. That's one of my decks that I use now. And also my new deck, I'm in love with this deck because these are the Afro Goddess deck. Found this deck, Andrea, I believe, Andrea is her name, on Instagram, and just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful images of just black bodies, beautiful. And she creates the images herself by hand, and then just recreates them onto these deck, which is in the form of tarot. And I love this deck. It's really, the images are, I have the holographic one, so it's even it's even more beautiful. And so these are the ones that I've used in place of the mother piece. So this is what I go to when I need yes or no. This is when I need guidance. This is when I need like just answers right now, answers on mundane levels. So when I say like mundane, it's just like everyday, day-to-day type of thing, money, business, relationship, self-care needs, things like that. So these are the cards that I go to for that. I still use my Metuneta Oracle when I have deeper spiritual journey practices that I need to, cycles and patterns that I need to expose or to move through. Because those are, again, attached to my own spiritual understanding of the Neteru and the Neteret, the actual deities or the faculties that resonate with who I am and who we are on a universal level. So these are my go-to. So between right now it's the Isis Oracle and the Afro Goddess Tarot deck. So beautiful cards. So and I give guidance on how to move through those. I know some people are, we all have our tools. We all have our beliefs around certain tools. But if you have any question about how to use them, how to start, I am available for a consult on how to start. So you all can, go to my link and book a consult with me, and I can work with you and move through you on that. The consults that I do are on a basis of really just, it's more guiding you or helping you or walking with you on your journey, on whatever that looks like, right here, right now, in your present moment, in your present time. So it doesn't look the same for anybody. It doesn't. Some of my consults, people do strictly yoga. Some of them do more spiritual consults. Some people do just readings. It all depends on what you are needing at the time. So we really make that very individualized for you and your journey. And we bring through. Help people walk through learning how to set up their altars, their meditation space, different self-care practices that they need in order to relieve some mental health concerns, physical health concerns, different things like that. I have a couple of different interviews on my YouTube channel discussing my journey in wellness and what brought me into this practice. As I talked about earlier, I walked away from, I would say I expanded my understanding from Christianity into more African traditional spiritual practice, and the wonders that it has done for me, just to be able to move through generational trauma, move through my own life cycles and trauma or decisions and unhealthy behaviors, so that I can move into my more authentic purpose in this life. And that's really what it's all about. It's this life is about us finding or rediscovering our calling and our purpose through this journey. And it's never a place of arrival, but it's always a place of unfolding and becoming. And it can be as challenging as you unconsciously would like it, or it can be very consciously fulfilling. So if you want to connect with me through that, you know where to find me. So I'm going to share a little bit about the solstice. I had very interesting energy. My energy always switches over around this time. This is Cancer season. Woo woo. So my energy is a lot more warm and fluid. So my eating habits automatically change. I do fasting through the transitions of the season, and that can look like a few different ways. It all depends. I have my 7-day juice and life cleanse book, which sometimes I do during the season, or I do a little piece of it, or sometimes I just do just a water fast or water and herb, which would be my teas and my water. And that's what I did over the weekend. I had a very beautiful weekend with Juneteenth celebrations, and really working through sponsoring a gallery opening for with my Noir Collective, and that's been a very beautiful experience, and we are still expanding that and what that looks like and how we can continue to move that. And so it's been very interesting energy for the last week. I would say in the collective, it's been this this balancing of, now that we have moved into this space of, of protest, of really seeing and feeling like things are changing in a way that we haven't seen before. And now it's almost like, okay, what do we do now? Where do we go now? What's the next step? What do we focus on now? And I can feel that momentum not necessarily slowing down, but being a little bit more intentional. And so that has resonated with me, right? Like, I see myself doing that, being a lot more intentional about where my energy is flowing, being a lot more intentional about like the organizations in which I am giving my energy to during this change and during this shift, and also like how to keep the momentum going so that this is a long-lasting change. It just started pouring beautifully out there. So it's the reading that I have for the solstice is pull the card of the Temple of Carnelian into the fierce belly of Sekhmet. Carnelian is a crystal energy that resonates with fire. Sekhmet and the Carnelian resonate with the energy of courage, bravery. If you've been following my newsletters since the beginning of 2020, we've been talking about like this 2020 vision, right? What it looks like to actually be in the energy of what you are here in purpose to do. Like, what is your medicine to bring into the world, and without all distractions. So we've had the distractions removed with the COVID. People have become a lot more focused on what they do want and what they don't want, or in form of relationship, in form of job, in form of what they're dealing with the collective consciousness, in form of like not dealing with racism, different things of that matter. And so we've talked about, went through the stages of with the lunar eclipse. We talked about really revealing those shadows, revealing those dark secrets and dark desires, and really reflecting on the truths that is bringing us, the ugly truths, the pretty truths, all of the truths, so that we can really move into harmony in our highest intention and highest vision. And that's been one of the things that I've asked constantly and consistently of people, is like, what is your highest vision? Yes, we can talk about all of the different things and what people need to do and such needs to do and what these folks need to do, but what is our highest vision? If we focus on that, we have to understand that the universe will conspire to do just that. That's why we are here now, because we've been sick and tired, right? That's why we're here now. So if we continue to focus on that in our own spheres and not so much as on the things that we can't control and the things that we don't yet understand, we can make bigger waves in our life when we reel it in. So what is it in your life that you need to change? What it is in your life that you are reflecting on that you can step into with greater courage and with greater truth and authenticity? And so that's one of the things that we've been focusing on all year, because that is, like I said, that is going to change. That's what changes the frequency. You can, if you think about experiences in your life where you decided to make a decision and really stand your ground on a certain thing, and once you've done that, then all of like the dominoes went into effect and changed and transitioned in order for that thing to happen, right? So it's the same thing. Once we start to focus on ourselves, we can make mass change on another level. But it has to start here. If we try to start from outside in, that's where like all of the other like distractions and all the other toxicity and all the other things that can really interfere with who we are come into place. So we want to start here. So with that Sekhmet energy, I'm dealing with courage. It's really about knowing that we can be victorious, right? It's knowing that, we talk about manifestation. We talk about all the things that we need to do in order to manifest the things that we want, desire, and that we're purposed to do. But in order to do that, we have to have the courage to step away from those things that no longer serve us, the things that keep us away from that bigger picture. And you can feel that. You can feel when that comes up in your body. You can feel when you get up in the morning and you have to go somewhere where you don't, where going to this place that no longer serves your energy, that no longer serves you and your purpose, right? And so that energy will continue to show up in your life and in your body until you make that decision to release it so that you can make room for something else. So this is why I like to move into the yoga practice as well, because our energy, the energy that we move in our body reflects the energy that we move outside of us. So when we talk about the breath energy, when we are inhaling, right, we can only inhale so much, right? And then we can hold on to it only so long. We eventually have to exhale and release in order to make room for us to breathe again and to inhale. So it's the same thing with the decisions that we make in our life. Like, in order for us to receive the things that are going to regenerate our body, regenerate our life, regenerate our spirits, give us the fulfillment that we need, we have to be willing to hold on for a moment, practice that gratefulness, and then let it go. We know that the only thing constant in this world is change. So adapting to that and understanding that, okay, you know, I'm going to continue to get more clear and more clear and more clear about the things that I want in my life. And so in order for me to do that, I have to know that sometimes what I did last week was, probably preparing me for what I want right now, but I have to let that thing go. So that's what this Sekhmet energy is really about. It's really about having that fire energy to do that, like unapologetically. That's one of my favorite words. Like, I just want to put that like on everything. Be unapologetic about the choices that you make. Be unapologetic about serving your purpose. Be unapologetic about self-love and self-care and being revolutionary in this time. And that's just you know what you got to do in order to like just I don't know, just like give no fucks whatsoever. In a sense. We of course want to make healthy choices and continue to harmonize, but you have to honor yourself. So that's what this collective consciousness is about. And so the victory is going to be once we start to do that. You know, once we start to be unapologetic. And this is speaking from in all realms of people who are rediscovering themselves. You know, rediscovering themselves in their black bodies, rediscovering themselves and their outside of racism and their white bodies, like rediscovering themselves in their communities, in their homes, in their families, whatever that is. But it just comes a point where we have to do that in the most authentic way, and that means to show up every day making choices that are best for us, and that way everything else harmonizes around that. You know, I mean, if everybody makes the choice to do what they want to do, then everybody else has what they want, right? So it's no reason to be anything but peaceful. So that is the reading for the summer collective right now, the summer season in the collective consciousness. And in that newsletter, I'm going to share with you all some recipes, some summer recipes. I am going to extend over a couple of other things in that newsletter. So if you haven't, please go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. The link is in my bio, and I'm going to put the link down here. Love. So what questions y'all got? What y'all want to talk about while I sip on my tea a little bit? What's going on? Anyone, anything? I'm going to we're gonna keep moving through these. I said we're gonna do Tuesday tea in June, but we're gonna keep moving through them until something else comes up. Y'all know how I do. I just love to keep growing and expanding, and sharing however that looks like. So this seems like just it's timely. I wanted to be able to talk with you all and connect. And I also want to be able to share with you all some of my new products and services with the teas and with the mugs and other creations that we have going on. So feel free to connect with me, to chat with me. And I will join you all next week. Y'all check out my tea. If you want to get on this live with me and chat it up with me, shoot me a DM and we will connect, because I want to fill it up with some guests. I don't always want to get on here and talk. I can and I will hold it by myself, but that's not what I'm here for. So so I would love to connect with you all and to sit and vibe. So love and blessings, peace and blessings. If you have any questions about the rituals or any of the African traditional practices that I practice, or any of the tarot cards, or anything like that, you all can contact me. All right. Peace. Be love. Live truth.